Hello there, and welcome back to the Blogger Genius podcast. I'm Jillian Leslie, your host and co-founder of MiloTree, the all-in-one platform that helps bloggers, creators, coaches, and entrepreneurs grow their email lists, boost their social media followers, and sell digital products with ease. At MiloTree, we make it simple to monetize your expertise without the tech headache. Whether it's digital downloads, workshops, memberships, subscriptions, coaching, MiloTree is your partner for turning ideas into income. And the best part, you can try MiloTree for free for 30 days. Just head to milotree.com and see how easy and inexpensive it is to get started. For today's episode, I am diving into actionable monetization strategies with two of my favorite guests, Christina and Corinne from the Smart Influencer podcast. These two seasoned bloggers with their own separate blogs share practical tips and strategies that you can implement right now to make money, even without much help from Google. So they're talking about growing their email list. Combined, these two have over 100,000 email subscribers to offering tripwires and selling digital products. If you're ready to grow your business with new ideas, you're in the right place. So without further ado, here's my interview with Corinne Schmidt and Christina Hitchcock. Corinne and Christina, welcome back to the Blogger Genius podcast.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having us.
It's really fun seeing your faces when you guys popped up on Zoom. I'm like, oh my God, I get to hang out with friends. So I so appreciate you coming back. This is your second time on the show. And what I love, just even when we were talking before I pressed record, it's like there's something to talking to old school bloggers about the journey. And I think this is a time of flux and change. And both of your attitudes are kind of like been there, done that, seen this before. Not necessarily that the issues are exactly the same, but you ride the ups and you ride the downs. So do you mind, both of you, sharing where your blogs are and how you're thinking about that?
So I will jump in first. This is Christina. My site is itisakeeper.com. And I feel like with these recent Google changes, I have felt some of the effects of them. While I don't feel like I was specifically targeted by the updates, I'm going to knock on wood there. I do feel like I had a drop in traffic because of it, because content that was ranking in position 1, 2, and 3 has moved down, and it's just not getting the traffic that it was prior to these updates. So, I felt it and I'm continuing to feel it. My attitude, though, is we've been in this game a long time. We've seen lots of changes, lots of things going on in the industry. And I feel like this is just an opportunity to pivot and find what's working. And it's kind of like a new frontier for us and going out and trying new things that maybe weren't an option before.
And Corinne, what about you?
So, this is Corinne. My site's wondermomwannabe.com. Same thing. I don't think that when I go into Search Console, it's not like all of a sudden my positions evaporated overnight. In fact, most of my strong keywords are still there. But when I go Google them, like when I go search for them, I might be in position 1, but position 1's on page 2, right? Like I've got all the AI, I've got the Reddit results, I've got a bunch of questions. So my ranking didn't change, but my position did, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I'm down about 25% across the board as a result.
Since a year ago?
So when I compare year over year, I'm down 25%, roughly, depending on what day I'm checking and, what I'm setting that parameters at, but pretty much down 25%. And that's sucky, of course, that's terrible. But again, we were talking about this beforehand. It's stressful because I pay, I'm a single mom, I pay the bills with what I bring home. So it is stressful and I hate that. I hate that part of it. And anybody that got hit even harder, my heart bleeds, right? I do feel bad, but On the other hand, there are some things about this I really love. I do. Like, and we talked about this, like, I feel like it leveled the playing field again, right? Like, we
Mm.
were all doing the exact same thing. There were formulas for what we did. The set and forget part of me really loved that, but it also is very boring, right? Like, it was a very specific way that we all did everything. You were saying it, Jillian, we all had the same theme, or like we're all following the same post template. Like, it kind of got boring. And now, like, that doesn't work. And so we all had to go back to the drawing board, and that's fun. Like, I'm not naturally a creative person, but I'm in this space because I do like to create and experiment. And I get to do that now. And now I don't feel like I'm doing it from behind. Like before, it was hard to buck the system because you knew what worked. Well, now we don't know what works. So it's kind of fun to try again.
Mm.
Um, it's stressful because then you got to try a bunch of stuff and you don't know where to put your time, and we still only have 24 hours in the day. So
Yeah.
that's been hard, but I do feel like it's also a period of like new discovery, and that is exciting. And some of the things got put on the back burner. Like I've been wanting to build up my products for a long time and focus more on printables, but I was making money on food. So I wasn't putting time there.
Mm.
Well, now I can. Now I can, and now it's paying off. And like, I don't know, I think a lot of us tend to have a little ADD, like a lot of us in this field. And it's fun. It's fun to do something different. So, um, it's a terrible time for sure, but it's also not a terrible time. Like there's a silver lining there if you're looking for it.
I
And I'll
think
also
that's
say I kind of approach it with the same approach that I give my parenting advice to my son. I'm like, there's situations in life that you just can't change, right? You're not in control of that. We can't control Google. So could I get mad at it? Yes. Could I be frustrated and rant and rave to get out my frustration? Absolutely. I do it. And it does feel good afterwards. But I can't stay in that place because that frustration and anger isn't doing anything. It's not going to change things. So the only thing that's going to change is the way I react to it. So if I decide I want to stay in this game, I'm going to need to find a way to react and pivot and move my business forward. Getting mad just isn't an option that works.
I
Right.
think that is so smart. And where I am seeing green shoots, because I'm like you, I'm interviewing people, looking at our own businesses, like where do I find the green shoots?
Hmm.
And where I see it, it's getting smaller and deeper.
Hmm. I agree.
Hmm.
It's
I
less
agree.
about I'm going to get a million page views, and it's more I'm going to serve 1,000 people who are
Yep.
people,
Right.
not visitors.
Hmm.
Page
That
views,
know,
like
like, and trust you.
that
These are
know,
the
like,
people
and
that
trust
know,
you.
like, and trust.
And I'm just going to say this. I see your faces show up on Zoom, and it makes me happy. I'm not
Hmm.
in the same room with you guys. We've done Zoom calls in the past, but you show up, and like I was looking forward to this interview today because you're real people and we're like-minded, and it's like, okay, I get to hang out with some friends for a little while. And I don't discount that. That is really valuable.
Hmm.
Right. Well,
Yep.
Christine and I have said that for a long time on our own podcast is one of our favorite things we do. Because you get to like it's kind of a lonely business what we do sometimes, and
Yep.
doing the podcast just reminds us that we're all facing the same stuff. And it always impresses me. Like I'm always amazed at how generous people are with what they know. Like people want to connect. So I'm with you. Like getting on Zoom, like seeing people's faces, it's a wonderful thing because we are ultimately in the business of people.
Hmm.
Um,
Exactly. And I think we forgot that.
yeah.
When I talk to people who start selling digital products, right, with our tool MiloTree, and they say to me, same thing, like I didn't really want to do this because like I was making money with my food content,
Mhm.
and I'm just like cranking out posts and updating them and using lots of tools and keyword research. It became almost like again a formula. And
Hmm.
now when they start selling solutions to people, they feel re-energized.
Right.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. I think that building that connection is definitely where it's at. I've seen it a lot through YouTube. I did a lot of YouTube videos, and then I took a pause for almost a year. I stopped creating content. And when I finally posted a new video back there, a few weeks ago, I was getting so many comments. I'm so glad you're back. I love seeing your face. And that kind of feedback was really re-energizing because I feel like people were able to connect in a way that they couldn't with just reading a recipe, right? They like to watch, you build that connection, you make those you start building that relationship with them where they know that they feel like they like you, right? Because you're making that eye to eye, even though you're not, looking at the person, you're looking into the camera, you're making that eye to eye contact. And it's not as bad as I thought it was at first. Like I was afraid to be on the camera, right? Like, oh, my hair's not right, or I don't want to do my makeup today, or my house, like my kitchen isn't perfect, or whatever it is. People don't care.
Mm.
They really don't care, and they will give you a lot more grace than you're giving yourself.
And they might
If you
even
just put
like it.
Yes, because you're real. And the best engagement I get is when I turn the camera around and show the mess behind the scenes, and people are like, "Oh, now that looks like my kitchen." Right? Because it's not always perfectly sterile and clean with the right appointed accessories here and there. It's a disaster behind the kitchen or behind the camera. And I think people feel like they can relate to that when they feel like they can relate to you, like you're not trying to hide something or be something you are not. They feel more connected to you. So I found a great connection in video. I also do TV segments with our local TV station. And just this past weekend, a woman approached me, like she heard my voice and she goes, I know that voice. And she goes, "Oh my God, you're Christina." Like she starts going, she's like, "I feel like I should get a picture with you." I wanted to
Oh,
melt into the rack in the store. I did not want to be seen. And my friends are standing there with me going, "Yes, she is. You want me to take the picture?" And I'm like, "Shut up. I
oh my
just want
God.
to melt into the rack." But what I learned from that is she connected with me in that way. It was just my voice that she heard, and
Wow.
she knew it was me. And she's like, "I love your recipes. I make this one, this." And she rattled off at least a half a dozen that she's made. And like, it really got me thinking, like, I need to do more of that because that is
Wow.
where it's at. Because she'll come to me when she needs a recipe. Now she knows she'll come right to my website rather than just Googling where to find that recipe. She'll come to me first. And I think building that connection with people is one of the greatest things we can do now. And video is where it's at all across the board.
So will you share, so
So,
what kind, so you were making recipe video, like are you like set
Mhm.
up and do you have like a bunch of cameras when you're doing YouTube videos of you cooking, or what are you,
Yes.
like how does
So I
that,
do like cooking show style videos with my face on camera. So I actually have two cameras, my regular DSLR, and then I just have my son's GoPro hanging off my pendant light over my kitchen island. So nothing fancy. Um, Prior to that, I had my iPhone just hanging over somehow in some precarious way mounted to my lighting fixture. But it didn't take a ton of equipment or anything to do. And I think people see these big produced type videos and they feel like there's no way I can recreate that. That is not me. Um, I just do it with what I have. I use iMovie to edit, or I have some college interns that help me with editing. So it's nothing fancy,
Mm,
but it works.
wow. I like that that reinvigorated you.
Yeah, it really did. And it was just this weekend. And I'm like, I need to do more of that.
Like that, again, I don't know if you believe in the universe or something, but I feel like
Yeah.
that was a sign.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was thinking the exact same thing. So that was Saturday when that happened. What today's okay, so Tuesday I get a text from the TV station. Are you available on this day to do a couple of segments? And I'm like, yes, I am.
it's a
It was
sign.
right. It was put out into the universe. So I'm not a very woo-woo kind of person, but
No,
I do
that's me.
believe
I'm
I
the
do
woo
believe that
wooer.
if you put good out, I always say I have good parking karma because I put good karma out, I get the good karma back. But I think if it's one of those things, like if you focus on it and think about it, and you can kind of make that stuff happen.
I love that story. All right, Corinne, tell me about how your woo woo is driving your business.
Yeah, no, I don't do well. to like, I don't do video. So just so we're, for those of you listening that like took away from that, we've got to go to the video. I agree. Like, I know video is a powerful tool and I think it is where everything's headed. I'm just not like, I won't say never because, never say never, but that's not my thing. I'm not comfortable there. It's going to take a big, big push to ever
I'm
get
gonna
me to do
push you
that.
there.
So
I'm gonna
mine's
push
email.
you.
Like I love email. That's where I connect with
Yeah.
and um
So
like
let's talk
I
about that.
Yeah.
yeah, so that's where I share like my email subscribers know more about my personal life than maybe some people that know me in person, right? Like I
Wow.
share everything. Like yeah, I shared about my ex-husband's death. They shared like I share everything in my email. That's where I'm a writer. It's where I feel comfortable expressing myself. I like the ability that I can edit first. Like this is why I can't do video. I'm too self-critical. Like I can't have something preserved out there in in the internet where people could keep coming back and, talking about my big forehead or whatever, right? Like I can't sleep at night. It's not me.
All
Stop
right, but
that.
let's talk about then email and how do you
Mhm.
get people on your list? And then how do you nurture them? And then are
So
you yet selling to them?
So I do a lot of printables. So I use a lot of printable opt-ins, but I've got opt-ins anywhere. Like you come to anything on my site, you probably get a pop-up asking you to sign up to get something. Um, so pop-ups everywhere. I will say the last year, I leaned in really heavy on collaborations. Really started collabing with other bloggers to share each other's content so that we could get
Mm.
in front of each other's list,
So wait,
participating in
can I pause
bundles.
you for a second? Is
Mhm.
this like somebody saying, "Hey, I'm going to reach out to my list and share about you and your freebie," and they reach out to their list and
Oh, no,
share?
I'm glad you asked because I've been approached for the smart influencer, we've been approached for things like that, but no, that's not actually the type of collaboration I do with with my Wonder Mom content. That it's more like there will be a bunch of printable creators
Mm.
and we'll have a spreadsheet. We have an organized spreadsheet. A couple of them have organized these and they're like, that's a great thing with some of these homeschool bloggers. They're very organized, but they'll have themes. So like, let's say, like Talk Like a Pirate Day, that week's theme was pirate activities. So we all share a link to a pirate activity, and then we all agree that week to send an email that shares the links to everyone's. And so they go to the blog post, and then if they want that activity, they opt into your list to get it. So more things like that, where we're sharing each other's content and then sending each other traffic too. So and I love that it's low risk because you're giving your audience something for free, and they're choosing what they want to go sign up for or
So
not.
wait,
So
so just to break that down,
mhm.
you have a group. How many people in this group, this share group, let's say?
So I've been in ones with as few as four. The four was the smallest, and with as many as 10. There were 10 of us total.
And what you do is, do you do a blog post with links to everything and you send the
No, it's an
newsletter?
email.
It's
It's a
just a
newsletter.
newsletter.
Mhm.
And you say, hey, I've got these great other blogs and here's different activities. Click here, click here, click here, click here if you want these
Right.
activities.
Yeah, like, hey, Shark Week, it's next, it is coming. So here are a bunch of shark activities to, to keep the kids occupied or to make an educational experience out of it. So, like mine would be linked first, and then I link to my friends. Some of the sharing groups, they like the mystery links, and that's a requirement to participate that you can't name the activity. It's activity 1, 2, 3, 4, to get more clicks. So everybody kind of had, if you organize, you can tell me, what you want to do. And if I don't like it, I won't participate. So they make the rule. That's the nice thing about organizing it. You get to be in charge. I don't, I'm happy to do what someone tells me. So I have an organized one, but
Okay.
I do really like those collaborations. And then also participating in bundles. I've participated in several bundles where you submit a freebie and then you promote it to your list and then everyone's promoting it to their list. So if anyone wants your freebie, they come sign up for yours. And then speaking at summits. I've been
Mm.
speaking at a lot of summits on topics related to what I blog about to get in front of new people. That's the closest thing to doing video that I do because they are typically lessons, but it's
See, you're
contained
doing video.
in a
I know.
private group. Yeah.
I get it.
I'm gonna push you into that. That is gonna be my goal,
For 2025.
right?
Maybe. She's also
Maybe.
still trying to get me to buy a Mac, so I can hold out.
Okay, so talk to me then. You're using all these great techniques to get people on your list. And has your list been growing? Like, is this
Yes,
so
I've
this
doubled
is
it, and since last year it's doubled.
okay.
Mhm.
And it's in the thousands, I take it?
I'm at 75,000 now, just under.
Wait, I'm sorry, say that again.
I'm just under 75,000 as of today. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. That is
Yeah, I aggressively grow my list.
that is incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you get people on your list. How often are you emailing them?
Every day. I email every day.
And
Mhm.
what are you emailing?
So I do it. So I don't email all 75,000 every day. My list is split between recipe because if you come to me for recipes, you don't necessarily have a child that wants printables. And then the printables people don't necessarily care about food. So in the welcome sequence, I give you the opportunity to click something so I can tag you with both. But my list does split almost very nicely right down the middle. Like I've maybe got 40,000 on each between the two lists. So I do send an email every day, but depending on your segment, you only get it every other day. So recipes go out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then printables are Tuesday, Thursdays. And then Sunday, when I'm on my game, I'm sending out a weekly newsletter.
Yeah. I email 5 to 6 days a week.
Oh my gosh. And
Mhm.
now, and Christina, can I ask how big your list is?
Yeah, my list is not quite as big as Corinne's. It's about half that.
Oh my
About,
gosh. Okay,
yeah.
both of you guys, here where I'm sitting and what I see, if you're not actively selling to your people, like there's a bag of money sitting
Mhm.
right there. The
Yep.
best way to sell anything is through your email.
Yep.
Mhm.
I agree.
And that is where most of my affiliate income
Yep.
comes from. And I'd say actually most of my sales probably come from the Tripwire offer. So when
Yeah.
you opt into my list and you go to the Tripwire, most of my sales come from that. But I think after that, like the sales with an email probably
Yeah.
outdo anything else that I'm doing. Like it's outperforming what I get from Pinterest or Google or Etsy. So
So again, for everybody who's listening who doesn't know, a tripwire is, hey, opt in. I'm going to give you something for free. Give me your name and your email address, and then when you press submit on that next page, the thank you page that shows up that says, hey, it's on its way to your inbox. And wait, while I have your attention, what about this? How about purchasing this for a discounted price for, say, a limited amount of time? And that can now you can't sell usually $1,000 item,
no, but I don't have $1,000
Yeah.
items.
but you can
So
sell something for how much is your tripwire typically?
So most of my Tripwire products are Tripwired at $4.99. Like
Oh
I'm
my
not
God.
making millions off of this,
But
but
that's
yeah.
Yeah.
amazing. And then
And
all of a
mine are two
sudden,
ninety nine.
oh my gosh, you guys, that's amazing. I would say usually up to like I would say the most like the sweet spot could be like $19.
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to put them together in a bundle and sell
Well, my
them.
best converting one is actually for those listening, please do this because someone told me to do it and it like was a moneymaker overnight. I used to give, if you signed up, you just got access to my entire printable library. So all of my free printables, like, because I thought I'm already giving them away for free, right? Like, why have to go visit 100 different, blog posts to go get them? Well, someone was like, you have how many free printables? And I think at that time I had 200 something, like I had over 200. They're like, you should be charging for that because no one's going to want to jump around to 200 blog posts to go get them all. So I put it on I only sell it on Tripwire. In fact, I don't think I promote it any other way. So for $10.99, I tried a bunch of different prices. $10.99 is the moneymaker. And I sell those every day. I sell at least one every day.
That's
And I was
amazing.
giving it away for free for at least 2 years.
Yeah, well, I think as bloggers, we got into the habit of giving stuff away in order to get page views.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think there is something to us not necessarily really understanding our own value.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I should give
Agreed.
this away for free.
Right.
I'm a nice person, instead of saying, wait a second, what I'm doing is really valuable. And there are people out there who would pay me for this rather than everybody knows this. It's not a big deal. It's
Right.
just some stupid recipes or who knows what, instead of saying, no, this is valuable. And now I can charge for it. And what's great, Corinne, is both of you guys, you're training people to purchase from you.
Well, that's what I was going to say that I love about the tripwire, because just as soon as you've hooked that person because you gave them something for free, whether or not they purchase that tripwire, you are letting them know right away, I sell.
Did you know with MiloTree, you can offer unlimited opt-ins and unlimited tripwires? It's super simple. Just upload your freebie to MiloTree, create your opt-in page with help of our AI, pick a product you want to sell as your tripwire, and then share the link to your opt-in on social media, your website, anywhere your audience hangs out. Offering freebies is one of the best ways to test new ideas and build your list. And tripwires are a simple way to make easy money. Try it out. Head to milotree.com. And now back to the show. When we were building MiloTree, we're going to create a product where we enable you to offer freebies. And then it was like the immediate request was, wait a second, I want to have the ability to set up a tripwire so that you get to grow your email list with your freebie. We'll deliver your, say, PDF directly to your new subscriber. And then, oh my God, now I can sell. And while typically, like you were saying, it's not like you're going to get crazy rich on your tripwire, but that's the beginning of the relationship.
Yep.
Right.
And I'll tell you, I expand upon that even further. So in addition to the tripwire, if you decide you want that, then I'm going to hit you up with a bump and say, oh, wait, do you want to add this product for a low price? And
And
then
then the
once you have that,
upsell.
then I'm going to upsell you and say, but wait, why don't you just get the whole bundle of stuff for this?
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I would say 85% of the time, I sell the bump and the bundle,
That
the
is
bump and the
amazing.
upsell. Yep.
Yeah. And
Because
this,
they're so tightly aligned, and I know when the person is coming in, what they're interested in, just based on what opt-in they're requesting, I know what that trigger point is, and it's a no-brainer deal for them. Like, because once they have that credit card out, it's easier to add on to it than let them put that credit card away and ask them again later on to put
I
the
will
credit
say
card.
this is one of Christina's superpowers. Like we brainstormed products for our niche sites together. And when we would sit down and talk about, like, if you're buying this ebook, which ones do you want? Like she does, like she sees those connections and like, we'll just do these three, pop, 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 and then we'll bundle those together. And they perform very well. Like if you know what they're looking for when they come in. Yeah, and it is Christina's superpower for sure. She's really good at seeing those connections.
But I understand the food niche. I think with the printable niche, it's a little bit different. And I think that that's where Corinne really excels, and she really understands how to capitalize on that. So I'm going to toot your horn right back.
Well,
oh,
thank
that's
you.
so sweet. And where I'm seeing people succeed is taking what you guys are doing and really seeing that as the first step and thinking, what is the bigger problem I'm solving for somebody?
Right.
And then how can
Mhm.
I continue to sell more and more expensive things, or things like, remember, like the money is really in a membership, let's say, and because of recurring revenue, but like, how do I build on this solution? Like I've tapped, because what you guys have both found is what I like to call gold. You've like
Mhm.
figured out, if I offer this, like that, maybe say this freebie, I can attach it to this product. And because it makes sense in terms of what the problem is I'm solving, I can, chances are, predict that a certain number of people who opt into my freebie are now going to want to purchase this additional solution that maybe takes it a step deeper. Or for
Mhm.
you, Corinne, now you're offering your entire library, and it's like, oh, and I challenge everybody, like, you found gold. And the thing that I see is when somebody finds gold, even if it's a little bit, and some people will be like, well, but I'm just selling like a $4 product or something. I'm like, but you found the connection.
Well, you know who's really, really good at that is Matt Mullen. I don't, have you
Yeah,
had Matt on?
he's a
Matt,
wizard.
he has this great, first of all, his mind is like unbelievable. To watch him work in real time, it's phenomenal. But he does that when he's working with people on email, is he's like, picture what your person was doing when they landed on your site. Like, for a food blogger, this is very easy, right? Like mom came home, like they just got home from school or from soccer practice, and now she's got to make dinner. She has no idea what she's going to make. She lands like, this is the mindset, but like to really picture what the person's doing and then what's the problem that they're going to solve. Because like the opt-in that you present, she's not looking to cook 12 meals right now, right? Like she's got this very immediate problem of getting dinner on the table. So what can you offer her that she's going to take the time to put her email in, because she doesn't need 12 other chicken dinner recipes right now, right? Like, and like he has such a great way of putting you in that frame of mind. Like I'm not
Yeah.
doing it justice right now. Like, and I'm trying to use an example he gave, and I still can't even recall it perfectly. So Matt does it much, much better. But what you're saying, Jillian, like really understanding who your audience is, what their problem is, and not just that, but what their problem is in the moment that they found you.
And therefore, not just in, and then what is the bigger problem? So
Right.
for example, if the mom comes home after soccer practice and needs a quick chicken recipe, what else? Like chances are that's not the first time that that's
Right.
happened. So are there other things you can sell the busy mom who, like, for example, a meal plan where every Wednesday a meal plan shows up with, because, she's got, let's say, soccer practice every Wednesday, that boom, in her inbox, there's the
Mhm.
recipe. And
Yep.
maybe you could have a variety so that you've got the ones for the vegans and you've got the ones for the picky eaters and you've got the what, like, because these are the problems that these moms have.
Yep.
Right. Why did they have that problem today? Like what's happening in their life that this is their issue?
I was just going to say, I think that there's a lot of missed opportunity here in the blogging world. First of all, I think there's a lot of people that aren't using email at all because either they're intimidated by it or they feel like it's just not worth my time, or I don't have the time to figure
It's
that
another
all
expense. It's
out.
another thing to
Yep.
learn.
Yep. And I think that that is a huge missed opportunity right there. So I think that that is something that if you're not doing it, you really should make that your 2025 goal and get on that, especially with the state of Google and SEO. Number two is I think a lot of times we look through our own glasses when we're trying to figure out what these problems are. And we think we're our target audience. And so many times we're not.
Mm.
And I hear this all the time in the groups of people saying, I would never email somebody more than once a week because I don't like getting all these emails in my inbox. Well, you know what? I'm not my target customer. My target
Mm.
customer likes getting the emails. And if they want to unsubscribe, they can, but they're not. You know,
I
I
love that.
you
Yes.
have to remove yourself from it and really come through the eyes of your target audience. And to do that, what I like to do to figure out like what their problems are or, what pain points are out there, I like to survey. But not only just my list of people, I go out on Facebook to my personal friends and family because so many of them are in my target audience and I know they're going to be honest, right? So when I put a question out there, I'm not going to get the response less ads. Well, that's not going to happen, right? They're going to give me the honest feedback that I want, and they're going to tell me things that I never realized they needed or wanted. And for me, that kind of feedback is priceless.
And
And
I'm
so many
going to
times it's so much more than what I'm thinking.
and I'm going to take it a
Yeah.
step further. Are there ways that then you can create quick down and dirty solutions and test them?
Yep.
That's what we do with MyLootry is we say, go test your products, test your
Yep.
freebies, go make a bunch instead of being so up in our heads,
Yeah.
worried that it's got to be perfect. Oh my God, I've
Right.
got to go create a ebook and it's got to be perfect. And I'm now
Yep.
going to spend six
Yeah.
months
Stressing
making
over the cover design.
nobody
Right.
cares. And so it's
Yeah.
like kind of like if you do what you're saying, which is Christina, which is I'm getting feedback. Okay, I've got like 5 ideas. So I'm going to pick the one that I think might be the easiest to test and might be the most popular that resonates with me. Okay, but I don't know. The only way you know is by putting it out in front of people and saying, do you want this?
And sometimes it's as simple as changing. So if I'm selling ebooks, it's as simple as changing the title. Like
Yes.
that simple. The content, the guts of that ebook are exactly the same. Nothing has changed other than the title. And I've done that a couple of times. And every time I do it, it amazes me that something so simple, like a fix that is so simple, instead of just giving up on it, well, this product didn't work. I might judge the title a couple of times and see which one resonates more because it doesn't really cost me anything extra
Right.
to make that change in Canva. But
Well,
I
the
can get
other thing with
a
that,
better
like
return.
specifically talking about digital products like that, it always amazes me. And I'm almost, actually, I won't say almost always. I'd say about 50-50. I'm wrong. I like we almost always do like two covers, right? Like or two
Yeah.
pin images to see. And the one I like better is not the one that performs better. About
Mm,
half the time. Like half the time I
Yeah.
guess right, half the time I'm wrong. Like people are fickle.
Yeah.
And like the number of times that I don't know, I see this all the time with my friends. They'll be redoing a logo and they'll put it out to all their friends. Like, which one do you like? And you watch everybody vote and you got 5 logos and like 3 of them have equal votes, right? Like people are different, so you don't know what's going to fly. So I agree with you. Testing works, but I like then actually test it. Like don't throw out
Yeah.
one thing and be like, well, it flopped because maybe it
And then
didn't
give up
flop
on it.
because the
and then
thing was
give
a
up
terrible idea.
because your
Yeah. Then be
feelings
like,
get
well,
hurt.
ebooks don't work or email
Right.
doesn't work.
And we take it personally. Like I
Yep.
can't tell you how many calls I get on people where they say, I tried it, it didn't work.
Yep.
Like somehow my audience does not want to buy from me. And I'm like, well,
Mhm.
maybe you're not necessarily figuring out exactly what your audience wants. It's like a puzzle. And
Right.
the more curious and the more willing you are to put stuff out that's rougher than you think to say,
Mhm.
but that solves a real hokey
Yeah.
problem.
Yep.
I think it's much more people focus on the colors and the fonts and
Yep.
forget about the fact that I will pay to get out of pain.
Right. I agree 110%. And sometimes that pain point is something you never even considered. And that's why I say you have to remove yourself from the formula completely. You have to just sit back as an objective observer and just, gather the data and watch because so many times we are not that audience. We're more tech savvy. We're more, we're in that industry. We know what to expect. So we're bothered by things that are different than our consumers. So you really have to remove yourself from that equation.
Well, and to that point, and to something you said earlier to Jillian about like in terms of like selling to people, I think a lot of times we get in our heads about like what is worthy of selling. And the one like aha moment for me was because I'm stingy with my time. Christina hears me say this all the time. I'm so stingy with my time. The older I get, the more true that is. I'm like, oh, I'm down to last minutes. Like I got I gotta cherish these babies. Like you gotta pry them away from me. People pay for convenience. Like some of my top selling product, again, like the freebie printables, some of my best selling products are things that I literally give away for free in some shape or form, but I bundle it together so that you can download it. And they don't care how pretty it is. They don't care how big it is. I tend to price things low because I have a hard time assigning value to what it is I sell. That is my mindset issue. So just price it lower. But because then if you do that and you start to see those dollars, you're like, someone will pay something for it. That kind of
Mhm.
gets you over that hump. But like if you think about this is where we can be like our reader, like we all want convenience. Like you said, Jillian, to pay, I'll pay to get out of pain. I will pay
Yeah.
to not have to bounce around to 10
Right.
recipe posts to get the recipes. I can download it in one click for a couple bucks. Done.
Done. Yep.
Done.
Yep.
Absolutely. I think that is so true. And just briefly, I share this a lot, but I there are these 6 purchasing triggers. And when you think about your own product, see if it can fit into at least one of these. And this helps you in terms of marketing and selling. Can you create a product that makes somebody money? So Milo Tree, I make you money. 2, can you create a product that saves somebody money? And then here is what you're talking about. Can you create a product that saves somebody time? Can you create a product that moves somebody toward happiness? Can you make a product that moves somebody away from pain? And can you create a product that raises someone's social status? Those, and so thinking, kind of backward, going, okay, like here's a product that I can create. How well does it fit into one of these buckets? And can I put it into two? And build and use ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, come up with some ideas. In fact, like I've got ChatGPT prompts to help people write an ebook, but it starts with, I think the first prompt is something like, okay, give me some ideas of products I can sell in my niche that fits into at least one of these purchasing buckets. And I just have all of the purchasing buckets. It will save somebody time, save the money, goes through the list. And it's amazing what ChatGPT can come up with. And so like use that as your sounding board, as your guide.
Yep.
So, okay.
Absolutely.
So
I agree with that.
So as we
100%.
close, I want you to tell me then where you predict or see green shoots.
I see it in reaching my readers in different ways. So I was telling you about video and going in that direction. I've gotten a lot of traffic over the past year now from push notifications. That was something
Ooh,
that was a long time ago. And I wasn't doing it properly the last time. Now I started doing it again, and it's usually one of my top traffic drivers every month.
can
Same
you
with email.
explain what that means?
Sure. So it's those little things you see on your web browser that says, um, you know, do you want to subscribe to get notifications when this site is updated? And you enter your email or not your email, you click sign up, and then every time a new post comes out, or I want to trigger a new post to go out, I can send you a notification through your browser that will
Wow.
say, when you log on in the morning, it'll be like, it is a keeper just posted XYZ. And you could click
Wow.
on that and see that notification.
Wow.
So yeah, I've seen a lot of growth with that recently. There's just a lot of different
And
things, and I
what
think
service, what tool are you using for that?
I use Pushly for
Okay.
that.
Nice. I
Yeah,
haven't even
so
looked at that.
yeah, so that's really helped me in the last year. So I just think exploring different things. As a user, I hate them. I unsubscribe from them. I do not subscribe to them, but they drive traffic to my site. So why wouldn't I use that? Again, I have to remove myself from the equation. And the more you force yourself to do that, I think the more it's easier to pivot to different things and to open the horizons to new stuff.
That is terrific. I'm going to go look that up as soon as we get off. All right, Corinne, any green shoots?
So yeah, it's funny because Christina and I, we joke about this all the time that we often start in the same place and we end in the same place, but we take different paths to get there. And this is one of those examples because like when we're talking about throwing spaghetti at the wall, I think similarly, our efforts have been at trying to find new ways to get in front of people, get people to our site. Like, so push is working for her. I use the same service. I've not had the same success. I think it works really well if you've got a niche site. I think this is where my lifestyle site hurts me a little bit there. Like I've segmented them, but because it doesn't work as well for me. So what does work for me, like I've been like trying to do more with MSN. Like I was originally working with
Mm.
MSN, like syndicating my content to MSN. And that is, it's helping like you like also as a revenue diversification because you earn ad revenue on MSN. So that's mostly what I was doing it for. And then like a weird little green shoot that popped up is all of a sudden now I'm picking up a lot of traffic from news sites because of the way that that feed goes out and the type of post that it is. So like I'm getting a ton of traffic from these sources I wasn't even
So
considering
explain the
because of these
MSN thing.
posts.
Explain that. So
So
this is
MSN has a partner program, MSN Start,
okay.
that you can apply to. You have to, in order to get approved, you have to publish at least 5 times a week. So this isn't for the person that's updating their site once a week.
Okay.
But it
Can
is
it
for
be like
bloggers.
you're republishing the same post, but it's
It can
updated?
be, yes, you can be updating post and pushing out, but you have to have you have to have post going live 5 times a week. But they can be updated post.
Okay.
So, anyways, but then you apply. I think the process is faster now. Like at the time that I applied, I had to wait, like it was several months. But I know people that have applied in the past, like 6 months that got in within a month.
I got in very
Um,
quickly.
yeah, so I think that process has improved. But I'm going to do a shout out for Grayson if that's okay. Grayson developed a plugin because you can publish your articles there, and that's how I started. But they do slideshow galleries. And again, as a user, I hate these things. Like if I land on a post like this, I am aggravated. But these are the money makers on MSN. So it's it'll be a topic, and then you hit the button, you go to the next picture, and it gives you the recipe or the description of what it is, and you got to go through the whole slideshow to see. These are the money makers on MSN. So those are how the posts are formatted. And Grayson Bell from iMark Interactive developed a service to create a feed so that you can create these types of posts, because it is almost impossible to do without some sort of tech on the back end. So he developed that, thank God,
Yeah.
so that we could do this, because it's been a moneymaker. Like I'm making some ad revenue over there, but not enough that I probably would have continued it. Just, for what I'm making, it's probably not worth the amount that I'm publishing, because you have to publish almost daily. It does seem to reward consistency.
Now, are these the same? So these are the same posts though that are going live on your blog.
They are live on my site.
Okay.
Now, most of the people I know are no indexing them, but I didn't do that, which I think is why I started getting this other traffic. So, so you will get traffic from MSN if you link to your own content in those slideshows. But Newsbreak app in particular is the one that's sending me a ton of traffic. It seems to like
Wow.
these posts. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I love that you kind of put it out there and then it has the now again, my one being in this business for a long time, I'm going to say that is like making hay when there's
Right.
sunshine, because who knows how long this will last.
Exactly.
Well, and the funny thing was, I tried it back in April. I'm like, okay, well, we've got the plugin, like, let's try it. So I published every day in April. And it wasn't at the time, I'm like, okay, I didn't make enough money off of this. This isn't worth publishing daily. I've got other things I can put my time to. So I stopped. And then in May, those posts I published in April still were going. Like I didn't think, because a lot of them are seasonal posts. So I did not think there would be dwell time. So May, I actually made the most that I'd ever, like I made a lot more than I did in March and April. And I had just started with MSN in March. So then I was like, and then I kept making money with them all summer. So that was why back in September, I decided to run it again. So they dwell, you can republish, and it just puts it right back at the top.
Yeah.
So,
We did a whole deep dive on this on the Smart Influencer podcast a few weeks ago.
Great.
So
I'll link to that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
it
Wow.
is
All right.
fantastic.
So it's funny because when we first got on this call and it was like, wow, things are changing, but all of us, but you, Corinne, saying, yeah, but this is like kind of exciting because there are all these new opportunities.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've talked about a whole host of these opportunities. And it's a little bit like you got to try a bunch of things to find that success. And when you do it and it doesn't work, okay, good learning, move on. I feel the same way. The people who have the most success selling products and services are the ones who are willing to test a whole host of ideas without taking it personally and recognizing. So, for example, Corinne, at first you're like, this is a time suck, it's not worth my time. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, wait, maybe there are these additional benefits that I need to give it a little more time to see the reward.
Well, and this is where I feel like it's super helpful to have friends in the industry. Like, so, because Christine and I are in a couple masterminds together. And like you can only test so much as an individual, but each person can be testing something different. So then somebody comes back, they're like, you know what, I'm running Facebook ads and it's working really well for me and it's a low cost per click. Well, they already ran the test, so now I feel a little more comfortable trying it. It doesn't always work, right? Like that is actually an example of something that someone in our mastermind group said they were doing. It didn't work for me. But like if you've got friends in the industry, you can kind of spread that test time around. So all you introverts, like you don't have to be friends with 1,000 people, but go make a few.
Find your 4.
Yeah, find your 4 because you'll save some time.
I think that is terrific advice. All right. So you guys, if people want to reach out to you, learn more, listen to your podcast, where should they go?
They can listen to our show anywhere they download podcasts. So it's the Smart Influencer Podcast. They can head over to our website, thesmartinfluencer.com, and find all of our channels there. But we drop new episodes every Tuesday. And a lot of times, like you, Jillian, we have very informative and helpful guests sharing some great insight and expertise. And sometimes you just get Corinne and I sharing what we've learned, our lessons from the trenches.
Well, you're kind of part of then everybody's mastermind.
Yeah. Every Tuesday. Tune in for your mastermind.
Well, I just have to say it is fun reconnecting with you guys, and let's do this again in say another 6 months so we can see how these green shoots, where they are.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I just want to say, Christina and Corinne, thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Thank you for having us.
It's our pleasure.
I hope you guys like this episode. My biggest takeaway is that monetizing your expertise doesn't have to be overwhelming. Christina and Corinne shared such actionable strategies, from using freebies to grow your audience, to leveraging tripwires to start making money as you build your list. It's all about starting small and testing your ideas. And speaking of freebies, if you want a copy of the 6 buying triggers I talked about in the episode, just head to milotree.com/triggers to grab it. And even if you don't think you're ready to grow your audience and start selling digital products, trust me, you are ready. Sign up for MiloTree and get your first 30 days free. If you think a friend would enjoy this episode, please share it. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. New episodes drop every Wednesday night at midnight Central Time. Thanks for listening, and I will see you here again next week.